Once again, welcome to Mathab Startup. Today we'll be looking at the concept of the binomial distribution. And in the last class, we discussed that of the binomial distribution, where we said that it's actually a distribution with a single outcome, having two outputs, which can either be true or false, the part of the good, up or down, and the likes of any two groups. But today we are discussing that of the binomial distribution, which is actually a multiple binomial distribution. The moment you perform a binomial distribution more than once, then you're no more discussing the Bernoulli, you are discussing the multiple Bernoulli that can be called the binomial distribution. That's why the binomial distribution is a distribution with n numbers of trials, unlike the Bernoulli that is just a single trial. And in the binomial, n numbers of trials with x determined or predetermined or required successes. So therefore, we now discuss the PDF of a binomial distribution to be of the form, say, P of x equals to x is equals to n combination x of p raised to power x, q raised to power n minus x, with x ranging from 0, 1, all the way down to n. Now, what does this imply? So what does it signify? It implies that the number of successes required can never be more than our trials, our n trials. So at most we request that we have 5 trials and we want 5 successes. You can't go for 5 trials and require 6 successes. So that is why there's a constraint on our numbers of successes depending on our numbers of trials. So by PDF, the binomial distribution have this at its own PDF. Then the next for us is to know if the binomial distribution is a legitimate probability function. If it is a legitimate probability function. So to prove that is actually easy. All we need to do is to go through the corridor of one of the axioms of probability that says that the summation of P of xi will actually give us 1. So how do we prove that a binomial distribution is a legitimate probability function? All we need to do is to say that to prove that the summation of P of x of any distribution, but for now the binomial distribution, is actually equals to 1. So starting from the left hand side of the equation, all I need to do is to say that the summation of the probability function of my binomial distribution is given as n combination x of what? Of p raised to power x, then q raised to power n minus x, with x ranging from 0 all the way down to n. So we have to prove this. So what else do I do? What I'm going to be doing now is that I hope you remember that my q is actually 1 minus p. 1 minus p. So on that note, I can rewrite this to be the summation of x ranging from 0 all the way down to n of n combination x, close the bracket, of p raised to power x and 1 minus p raised to power n minus x. So if you can remember, with respect to the binomial expansion, if you can remember that when you have a plus b raised to the power of n, then you are simply having what? You are simply having an expansion of this form. If you can remember your binomial expansion, where you now be having something of the form, say, n combination x of what? Of a raised to power what? A raised to power, say, x of b raised to power n minus x. Then if you try to relate this note, is actually a note, as you recall, from binomial expansion. This note, we try to compare it with what we have here. Then since this is exactly what we have here, then we should be able to transform this into something of this nature. Then if you try to do that, what we have that since this is of this form and we want to convert this into something of this nature, then we will be having something of the form, say, where my a will be my p, so I will write my p here, plus where my b is my 1 minus p, so I have 1 minus p here, all raised to the power of n. So on that note, I have p takes away p, then I have 1 raised to the power n, which is also equals to 1. And that proves to us that a binomial distribution is a legitimate probability function. Now, how do we now solve for the mean and the variance and perhaps the standard deviation of a binomial distribution, because every distribution is characterized by the mean, the variance, perhaps the standard deviation, the skewness, and the kurtosis of that distribution. So follow me as we look or we solve for the mean of the binomial distribution. To solve for the mean of a binomial distribution, we go through the corridor of the mathematical expectation, which is given as the mathematical expectation E of x is actually equals to what? By formula is the summation of the range of x, say from 0 down to n, of the binomial, I mean to say, of p of x of p of what? Of x of p of x. So what do I do is that I'm going to write this from, say, the summation of x ranging from 0 down to n of x times the probability function of my probability distribution function is given as n combination x of what? Of p raised to power x, then q raised to power n minus x. So I try to do my simple manipulation from here and see what I have. But before we go on, I need to bring to your notice that a probability distribution function is not unique. It's not unique in the sense that it's not being regimented to a particular formula, a particular distribution of a binomial or any other distribution, so to speak. But as we go in the class, I believe you're going to understand what I'm trying to communicate to you. So what do I have next is that I'm going to be having that, okay, the summation of my x ranging from 0 down to n of x times n factorial all over n minus x factorial of p raised to power x of q raised to power what? N minus x. So what I have is that I'm then going to be saying that by expansion, then the summation of my x ranging from 0 down to n of times, and I expand these ones, n times n minus 1 factorial all over n minus x factorial x times x minus 1 factorial. I've just expanded it using the factorial method of expansion of numbers. Then times what? Times my p. What is my p? Then let me just take away one p from my p raised to power x. When I take away one p from it, I'll be having p raised to power x minus 1 and q raised to power n minus x. Now, why do I have to do all of this expansion? Is that the moment I needed to cancel this x actually here, so I needed to expand my x factorial. But the moment I expanded my x factorial, automatically I expanded what I have upstairs, and I needed to take away 1 from here for a purpose. Now, what is the purpose? Is that my x will just take away the x that is here, and np just come to the back, np, then I have the summation of x now really from 1 and no more is 0 down to n, because I have cancelled 1x, so it's now really from 1 and no more is 0, from, and then I have n minus 1 factorial, then n minus x factorial of x minus 1 factorial of p raised to power x minus 1, then q raised to power n minus x. Now, I need to expand it one times ahead, because I needed it to become a legitimate probability function. I did not expand this entity because I did not tamper with this entity. My n minus x factorial is still intact because here as well is intact. I didn't tamper with any of those factorial of n minus x factorial. What I did for x, so I need to do some manipulation with my n and my x simultaneously. So on that note, like I told you that a probability distribution function is not unique. All of this is a legitimate probability distribution function. So it spans up and becomes 1. Hence, the mathematical expectation of a binomial distribution equals to NP. And that is our mean for a binomial distribution function. The number, the size, the population size, perhaps, times the probability of success in that distribution. For the variance of a binomial distribution, we need to recall something. We need to recall that the variance of x of any distribution is actually equals to expectation of x squared minus expectation of x, then all in brackets squared. Although we can also write it as this delta, that means other way is that we can say that it is the expectation of x minus what? Minus nu squared. But any of it will actually give you an answer, but I prefer to go with the first one. So if I will go with the first one, I already have my answer for expectation of x from when we solved it to be NP. But I don't have any answer for expectation of x squared. So there's a need for me to do a simple manipulation on that note. So what do? I just recall that the expectation of my x squared can as well be written as the expectation of my x minus 1 plus x, close bracket. So if you look at what I've written here, when you expand this bracket now, you are still going to be having x squared here. You can't deal with this x squared, so we look for a way to expand it up so that we can easily deal with it. And by expectation property, this can be expanded so that it becomes the expectation of x minus 1 plus the expectation of x. Don't forget, we know what the expectation of x is from our previous solving. We know that the expectation of x is simply np. So we need to solve for this guy now. So what do? I go by say, okay, the expectation of my x minus 1 is simply equals to the summation of what? Of my x ranging from 0 down to n of my what? Of x. Let me just write x and x minus 1 times my probability distribution function of probability distribution function, where I have it to be say that n factorial all over n minus x factorial of p raised to power x 1 minus p raised to power n minus x. So what do I need to do? I need to eradicate these guys. So I need to expand my x factorial twice, unlike the last one where I expanded this once because I need to eradicate x. But this time I am eradicating x and x minus 1, so I need to expand this guy twice. So if I expand this guy twice, I do the same for the numerator and I try to do the same for my p component as well. So what do I have? I have it to be that the summation of my x ranging from 0 down to n of x minus 1 times n minus 1 and n minus 2 what factorial all over what? All over n minus x factorial x minus 1 and x minus 2 factorial of, when I bring out p squared out of this guy, I'll be having it to be p raised by x minus 2 by simple indices application. Then I have it to be what? By 1 minus p raised by n minus x as well. So this x takes away this x, and this x minus 1 takes away this x minus 1, so that I am then left with what? I'm then left with the entity of, I can bring this out, n minus 1, and I have my p squared coming out, so that I am left with the summation of x ranging from now 2 down to 0, down to n, I mean to say. Now, it's normal starting from 1, it's starting from 2, because don't forget we expanded x twice from the factorial aspect, so that we are left with n minus 2 what? N minus 2 factorial all over n minus x factorial x minus 2 factorial of p raised to power x minus 2 and 1 minus p raised to power n minus x. So all of this guy as well is a legitimate probability function. Why? Because all of them expanded randomly. There's a random expansion from it, so it still makes it a legitimate probability function. Hence, the expectation of my what? Of my x minus 1 is given as what? As n minus 1 p squared. So so from here now we can then go back to the beginning of our question. Having something of this form, say that the variance of what? Of x, we know we said is actually equals to the expectation of x squared minus the expectation of x, all in brackets squared. We wrote this as the expectation of x minus 1, close bracket, plus the expectation of x minus the expectation of x, all in brackets squared. I know you know how we got this, right? So, you know we got this to be what? To be n minus 1 and then p squared here, then plus what we know our expectation of x to be is np minus np, all in brackets squared. So do your simple expansion from here. You'll be having x squared p squared minus np squared plus np minus n squared p squared. So when your n squared takes away n squared p squared, you'll be having what left? You'll be having np minus np squared plus np. So when you factorize np from this equation, you'll be having minus p plus 1, which can as well be written as np 1 minus p, and that is npq. So what does that imply? It simply implies that the variance of your binomial distribution is given as npq. Okay, in summary, what do we have? The mean of our binomial distribution is given as what? As np. Then the variance, which is actually sigma squared of our binomial distribution, is given as npq. And we know now by relationship between variance and standard deviation, we know that our standard deviation is given as what? As sigma squared. Hence, we have it to be the square root of NPQ for our binomial distribution. So that is that for binomial distribution, dealing with the legitimate probability function of a binomial distribution, and dealing with the mean, the variance, and the standard deviation. So in our next class, we'll be looking into another distribution and perhaps taking some examples with respect to these distributions so that you can have more light in them. So thank you for being a part of this class, and please do ensure that you subscribe so that you can have notification when we post a new video.